Then we come to Gill's Barber Shop. It still says barber shop here, but there's no barber here anymore. But for many, many years, that was the barber shop for this neighborhood. And I got many a haircut in this barber shop over the years. I like their sign over here on the door though, says have a great hair day. First time I ever heard that one. That's a good way to greet somebody. They're saying they're having a bad hair day. Well, I hope tomorrow's a good hair day for you. Over across the street though, right about here, where this glass high-rise is now, used to be a couple of wood frame buildings. One of them was Mrs. Swanson's baby shop, and the other one was the old Gardena Moneta branch library. And it was an old wood frame building too, which they'd been torn down years ago. But they were here where this new building was built in their place. That old house there has been there forever. Ain't nothing changed about it except the security doors. That's a sign of the times too. Right here, there was the Holdsworth 5 and 10 cent store, the Moneta cleaners, dry cleaners, and Roy Bird's jeweler store was in this one. All three of them businesses are all gone, and there's new businesses occupying the buildings. But except for a renovation of the front of them, they're the same old buildings. Which brings us to the next one up here, which is now a bail bonds office. That's probably one of the oldest buildings still here besides the old drugstore, huh? Looks like it. And you'd go through that door and up them stairs, and there was apartments above there. And I used to know somebody that lived in one of the apartments up there, so I've actually been through that door, up them stairs, and in the top part of this building in time. And everything else on up the street is all more recent built. And that's about all the buildings that are left of what used to be the original downtown for Moneta and then later for Gardena until they relocated their downtown to Gardena Boulevard. Come back in 40 more years and see how much of it's still left. We have a jeweler that owned this jewelry shop here, Roy Bird. He was a good personal friend of my parents and later of me too. He had a his business, his jewelry business and him had a tragic ending though, in that in the mid-1960s, he lost his only son. Got killed in a automobile accident. He got so despondent over that he went to drinking very heavily. Lost his marriage, lost the business, finally lost his own life. So it was a tragic end for him, and he was a hell of a nice guy. I remember him well. Roy Bird. And the Holdsworths that owned the 5 and Dime in this building, June Holdsworth I know has passed away, but I think her husband Mel, albeit he's up in his 90s now, the last I heard he was still alive and living in Lomita. And one of their daughters was my age, and we used to go to Dinker Avenue School together, and her name was Sharon Holdsworth. And that family ran the 5 and 10 cent store there, which the 5 and dime store of those days is like your department stores of today. They handled a little bit of everything, and back in those days, most things were only 5 or 10 cents. because a dollar would buy a whole lot of stuff back in those days. So hence the name, Holdsworth 5 and 10 cent store.